The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are. This is Alan Brody, your organizer for 5 Simple Steps to Beat Age Discrimination. We welcome you today to the Legal Careers RX airwaves. I want to mention before I introduce our presenter that you should enter your questions into the GoToWebinar control panel under questions or chat. Either way, we'll get your questions answered before we finish today. As to our presenter, she's Sherry Estrin. Sherry Estrin is the CEO of Legal Careers RX and of Paralegal Knowledge Institute, both divisions of Estrin Education, Inc., a continuing legal education organization. She's also editor-in-chief for KNOW, K-N-O-W, the magazine for paralegals. Ms. Estrin is the chairperson of the Organization of Legal Professionals as well. She has held executive positions in law firms, litigation support companies, and was head of a $5 billion publicly held corporation. She has written 10 books in the legal field, including the Paralegal Career Guide, 4th edition, and has been interviewed by publications such as Newsweek, the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times, the Chicago Tribune, and other prestigious publications. And she has written the blog named The Estrin Report since 2005. So we welcome her to our airwaves, and we are going to get started. I now have a I think you should close your control panel.
Fix your panel. Okay.
You closed it?
Yes.
Okay, we're good. Now open your camera again.
Okay.
And we're ready to go. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have to start again. Well, we're not off to a very good professional technology start here, so I'm going to start all over again. And that goes like this. Hello, my name is Sherry Estrin, and I am the CEO of Legal Careers RX. And Legal Careers RX is a group of very, very talented legal career job hunting strategy coaches that's going to help you find a job. And some of you may be having a little bit of a struggle finding a job, and the questions we always ask is your resume landing you interviews? And if not, we want to find out why, and we want to correct that. And if it is landing you interviews, how many offers did you get last week? And if the answer is none or 1 or 2, then we want to fix that as well. The idea behind this brand new way of finding a job is that we have to use social media, whether or not we want to. And there's a whole new way of using terminology, and there's a whole new way of submitting your resume, a whole new way of looking for candidates, and most of you do not have the experience in order to do so. The reason? We don't do this very often. It's not like one of your job duties where you do it every single day and you know how to do it. You don't. We don't have a lot of experience in terms of finding a job, so it only happens maybe once every few years, and for some of you, maybe once every 5 years, maybe once every 10 years, maybe even once every couple of years. But the world has changed, and it's changed in such a way that it's moved very, very quickly, and it's moved in a way that we can't keep up. We just can't keep up. So we're going to show you a few ways that you can use. Right now we're going to focus in on the topic of 5 ways to beat age discrimination, which a lot of you think is the reason why you're not getting a job. And I hate to be the messenger, but for a lot of you, it is not the reason that you're not getting a job. A lot of the reason why you're not getting a job is because you're feeding the bias that goes on in age discrimination and not getting a job. It has absolutely nothing to do with age discrimination. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to overcome some of the biases that people take, that they automatically have when they see somebody over 40 walking through their door, no matter what we're going to do. So let's go through a few of the things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my webcam for right now so that you can see the full slides. And then afterwards, we're going to turn it back on, and we're going to have a few questions and answers. Also, for those of you who stay through to the end of the webinar, I'm offering a free resume evaluation, which means if you send in your resume as it stands now, I will happily evaluate the resume for you. I'm not going to rewrite it. I am not going to rewrite the resume for you, but I will evaluate the resume in terms of what's going on with it. And I will also give you a free telephone conversation in terms of talking about what some of the problems you're having and some of the issues that you're having, and make some suggestions for you. My rates are $95 an hour. They're very reasonable, and you may decide to sign up with me, and you may decide not to sign up with me. If you go to my website at legalcareersrx.com, you're going to find a whole host of free resources that you'll be able to use when you are putting together your resume, your cover letter, your LinkedIn profile, answering some very, very tough questions, negotiating the close, and possibly getting a very, very good recruiter, which some of you are not. Some of you, the recruiters are turning away. And the reason why they're turning away your resume and taking you on is because you're simply not packaged well enough. So they don't want to take the time, they don't want to take the energy to take you on. And frankly, that's what's going on. What can I say? That's what's going on. Okay, so let's close up the webinar, or actually the webinar, the webcam for a moment, and let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so it's not showing. Open my slide. Show my screen. Okay, how's that? Does that work? Yes, it works. Are we working, Mr. Brody? Okay. All right. It's interesting that age discrimination exists in all things the legal field. Baby boomers and legal professionals, paralegals, litigation support, attorneys, managing attorneys, particularly in the baby boomer generation, are reporting age discrimination as the #1 reason to be turned down for a job or a promotion. But while it's common, it's really, really very hard to prove. You didn't get the job. Was it a poorly written resume or cover letter? You're not going to know. You're not going to know. No one is going to write to you and say, hey, loved your resume, hated the way you wrote the cover letter. And most people, what they do is they go down to Barnes & Noble, or they go over to Amazon.com, they buy a book, they get a template, they use the template, and they think that the HR person or the person in charge of hiring hasn't read the same book and doesn't recognize the same cover letter or resume. I got news for you. They've all read the same book. So to be sure that you have faced discrimination, it's necessary to step up to the table and to write a resume and a cover letter that stands out from the crowd. And we're going to show you some ways today to beat age discrimination and to make you stand out from the crowd. There are 76.4 million baby boomers today, but it used to be the largest generation, but it's no longer the largest group. It's the second largest group. So there are approximately 1 million U.S. lawyers and approximately 250 to 300,000 paralegals. How many litigation support people there are, no one knows right now, but you can guess that it's pretty much in the middle. Right now, there are the average age of paralegal student is 36 to 38, so we know that it's a second or third career. But the average age of law student in a top school is only 24. So right there, we've got a huge age gap. Now, a lot of people don't pay any attention to the various Gen X, Gen Y, baby boomer. They don't think that it makes any difference. But I've got news for you. People were brought up in a different manner. People were brought up with TV, with fax machines, with social media, and so they all have different work styles. My suggestion to you is to study those different work styles because you're going to have to work alongside of them. And if you are not working alongside of them in a manner that they're used to, chances of you getting promoted or getting the job are very, very slim. So take a look at the very different work styles that you're going to be presented with once you're on the job. There's the traditional, and those are people that are older than baby boomers. Then there are the baby boomers. Now, let's talk about 3 primary reasons your job search is not working. Your cover letter is not strong enough, or it's a common, boring template indicating no independent thinking. And you know what I'm talking about. Dear Mr. or Ms. Employer, I am a diligent, hardworking litigation support analyst with 15 years of experience on the job. Ho, ho, hum. Okay, what about that sentence makes you stand out? Absolutely nothing. The resume is not strong, but you think it's just fine. And generally what people do, and they admit to me probably after the second sentence, that what they did was they sat down one afternoon and they listed every possible single assignment that they think that they have in no particular order. They just listed what they think they do. You're applying for jobs online. There's too much competition and there are software programs weeding you out because keywords are missing. Keywords are extremely important and you need to know what they are. Also, there are only 10% of the candidates that are applying online who get jobs. Only 10%. That's it. So there are 3 primary reasons your job search is not working. You may have to send out 75 to 100 resumes to get one interview in this market. And what happens is people send out 1, they send out 2, they pick out 1 or 2 jobs that they think are perfect for them. After all, it says I can do this, do that, do this, do that. So they pick out 1 or 2 jobs and they know that it's perfect for them. They send it in and then they don't hear. So then they have to start the process all over again. You may have to have 5 to 10 interviews or more before you get 1 offer, and that's in a very, very good market. which this is not. This is not a good market. Okay. 74% of job candidates over age 40 are encountering age-related problems. And a lot of the times, they're bringing it on themselves. The number of employees facing age discrimination when seeking promotion is not known, but it's suspected to be very, very high. 3 primary reasons you're not moving up the ladder. You may be in the same position doing the same thing for 15 years. So here's what's happening. You're doing the same job year in and year out with no visible upward movement. Your job today is the same as it was last year. So you're drafting motions, you're sitting second at trial, you're doing the same entry-level database entry that you were doing last year. Your appearance, frankly, my dear, you look like your grandma. Now, yes, we all age, but men, you're wearing the same styled eyeglasses you wore in the 1980s. Ladies, you're wearing the same cheerleading style haircut that looked so great when you were in school. You're not wearing age-appropriate type of clothing. You don't have to go and buy old lady polyester type of clothing. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that you do have to look up to date. Most importantly, your skills are out of date and you're not doing anything about it. You blame your employer for not providing training nor the latest technology, yet you don't do anything about it. What you do is you say to the next employer, well, my employer doesn't pay for continuing legal education, so there I sit. I'm a victim. So you play the role of the victim. I don't go out and spend money for a continuing legal education. I got news for you. You pay $5 a day or so to buy a Starbucks. $5 a day times five days a week is $25 a week. 25 times 4 is $100 a month you could be paying to buy one CLE class. That's $1,200 a year that you could be paying for CLE yourself. Okay, so where is the independent thinking? There is none, and that's what the employer thinks. Okay, the bias number 1 against older legal professionals: you have no energy or drive. That's the bias. You have low billable hours. You have too many doctor's appointments. You're always going to the doctor. You're a 9-to-5er. Your appearance, you have an old-fashioned haircut, you have gray hair, a careless appearance, okay, and it's not to say that you shouldn't have gray hair. Some people are great in it. You're not physically fit. You don't wear up-to-date clothes. You're even age-appropriate, and you look worn out. And I can tell you appearance, where you go, you sit down in your chair and you go, oh, God, my knees are just killing me today. Okay, does that not push a bias? Yes, it pushes a bias. Oh my God, my knees are killing me today. You're at the end of your career. You have no incentive to move up. I'm working with a firm, a New York firm right now. They have 7 managers who've been there no less than 15 years. They're just waiting for their time to retire. That's it. They come in 9 to 5. They're waiting for their time to retire, and the firm isn't going to let them go. So they've gone as far as possible. Their career has already peaked. That's how the firm looks at them. They're just waiting for Medicare and retirement, and they're just coasting. They're just waiting for their benefits. So there's no energy or drive. That's the bias. It's not discrimination. It's the bias. It's how they're perceived. Do not discuss your disabilities. Okay, people start around their 50s, they start to talk about their current ailments, their knees, their arthritis, their sagging body parts. Okay, instead what I want you to do is to talk about a continuing legal education webinar you took, what you did over the weekend. You swam, you ran, you hiked, you golfed, you tennised, you coached a little league. Not you went to watch your grandson's little league game. okay? Or you went and you got in the golf cart and you drove around the golf course. A popular book you just read, your workout, okay? Involvement with a legal association. I went down and I participated in the pro bono day. A speaking engagement. I wrote an article for the litigation association newsletter. Talk the talk. That's the strategy. Talk the talk, okay? Not what you didn't do, but what you did do. Discouraged? You want to sue? Not the best strategy. You go try proving your word against theirs. Try it. And why spend the money and the energy? Use strong strategies. Anger and depression it's just a waste of time. You don't have the power to change the market. You don't have it. Okay? Instead, what I want you to do is to change yourself. Okay? Change yourself. Get up there, change yourself. Now, here's the biggest thing that I find. You have no smartphone, no iPad, laptop, or other current devices. You don't know anything about the cloud, and you barely know enough about the internet. In fact, I find people over 50 bragging that they don't know much about the internet. They brag about it. You don't have any social media skills. You're not on LinkedIn because you didn't think it was important. You're not on Facebook because you don't know what to say. You don't Twitter and you don't tweet. Sorry about the typo. You can't keep up. You just can't keep up. You have little or no knowledge of the latest software in your practice specialty. You have little or no knowledge of e-discovery or litigation support, no matter what specialty you're in. Anything computer related, and you fall back to the victim status or the novice. Or, I'm better with things more substantive. My firm doesn't need all that technology. I hear this over and over and over again. And what happens is your firm dissolves, your firm merges, your firm whatever, and you go on to the next job, and what happens is they dismiss you. They don't even see you, because there's nothing on your resume that indicates that you know anything about technology. Why? Because your firm didn't participate in it, and you didn't have the foresight to learn anything about technology. Why? Because your firm didn't need it. Okay, so you thought you were going to be there forever. What you don't know is hurting you. It's hurting you. Okay, there should be a list, there should be a column on your resume that shows the CLE, that shows the webinars, that shows the types of things that you're taking to keep you up to date. You can take online, you can take recorded, you can do anything that you want to do, but you have to show that you still have a direction, that you're not brain dead. Okay, you have to show that you're still brain dead. This is your strategy number 2, CLE. CLE is your strategy number 2. Okay? You also, a bias is you cannot take direction or criticism from a younger boss. Why? Because you think you know more than they do. And maybe you do. Who knows? Maybe you do. But you believe that you know a lot more than your younger boss. Maybe you do. But don't show it, okay? Don't keep telling them, well, in my day, okay? In my day, all right? And you want to teach the boss. You want to, well, let's do it this way. Let's try it this way. That's a bias. It's not going to work for a younger boss. Not going to work, okay? It's just not going to work. Adopt a positive attitude. Be receptive. Let them do the talking. Remember the 80-20 rule? That's where they do 80% of the talking and you do 20% of the talking. Show respect. Don't be afraid to say, I didn't know that. Don't be afraid to say that. I didn't know that. Okay? Don't say you can teach them. Well, I can teach you that. Ask them to teach you something. Can you show me how to do that? All right? Mention that you worked for someone younger. Give them a positive example. Don't mention how you did it before, or the worst possible phrase, and I know every single solitary person in this room uses this phrase, in those days. Okay, now, When someone younger than you uses the phrase in those days, they may mean in high school, which was 7 years ago. You may mean 30 years ago. And that's a huge difference. And they're going to catch on to it in those days. Okay? What? You were dancing the jitterbug? I mean, come on. In those days. In those days we did this. All right? That's not what it means to somebody younger in those days. Get it out of your vocabulary. Assume that they are uncomfortable. All right? Put them at ease without being condescending. Role play with somebody. Role play with your grandkid. Role play with somebody, a friend. Role play. Okay? So that you're at ease, so that you can get them at ease. Right? This is strategy number 3, collaboration. Learn how to collaborate with them. Strategy number 3. Okay. Here's another bias. All right. You say, this is the way we've always done it back in the day. This is the way we've always done it. Now, new people on a new job generally say, this is the way we've always done it. Or people who take on new people will say to a new person, this is the way we've always done it. They're not open for change. You have to be open for change. This is the way we've always done it is a black mark. I can't even begin to tell you what a black mark it is, okay? Or back in the day. I can't tell you how many people use the phrase back in the day. Get it out of your vocabulary. You appear resistant. This is all about your critical thinking skills. You're resistant. Well, I don't know about that. And when I make suggestions on how to change some resumes, people say, yeah, but it's on everybody's resume. That's exactly why we're using this phrase, because it's not on everybody's resume. And we want you to stand out from the crowd. We want to make you different, because it's not on everybody's resume. Okay? You think it's faster or it's easier to bypass the system because that's what you know. Learn new systems. So by not being open to change, you're feeding a bias. You're feeding the bias, and you look old. Okay? You're feeding that age discrimination. I don't want you doing that. I don't want you doing that. Say change happens fast. Boy, just last year, okay? Boy, change happens fast. Give examples of change. 6 months ago, we were using blah, blah, okay? Talk about the new software you learned. You know, I just learned blah, blah, okay? Boy, did that change the blah, blah, okay? Talk about the future of your specialty. Look ahead. You know, in 5 years, we're going to have blank, blank. This is the way it's going to be. Be the guru. Be the go-to person. Be up on the trends. I can't tell you how many people that are my clients, and I have hundreds of clients. I can't tell you how many people don't read. They don't read blogs. They don't read the trades. They don't read the papers. They don't go to talks. They don't go to webinars. They don't go to legal tech. They don't go, and they're not up on the trends. They're up on last year's so-called trend, and it's not a trend anymore. Be able to quote the sources, the icons, the white papers, the articles, and particularly the blogs. I hear blogs going away. I don't know that they're going away so much as they're changing. Okay, the blogs are changing. Prove that you're open to change. Remember what environment you're in. You're in the legal field. The legal field is all about changing. So you have to be a changer, not a hater, a changer. So remember, remain open. Okay? Take CLE not because you're required to take 25 units every 3 years or 8 units every 2 years or whatever the heck it is. Show that you want to learn things. Hey, John, you want to come to that webinar with me down at the blank blank? I hear it's supposed to be really good. Great way to network. Great way to network. Make suggestions how to improve systems. So you're going to remain open. So you're proving to a field that says, prove to me that I'm open. Everything in the legal field is prove it to me. Okay? Be that person. Know what's coming. Read. There's the magazine for paralegals. There's LTN. There's American Bar Association. There's American Lawyer. There's thousands of things that you could read for free. For free. Okay? You don't have to spend a huge amount of money. Now, bias number 5. You're older. Okay? So you're going to expect a lot of money, and you won't take lower. This is bias, okay? Or you're going to take the money with one foot out the door. Or something is wrong if you work for less money. Now, this is all bias, okay? This is all bias. And you've got to get rid of this bias. As you can see on my resume, I took a lower salary for the Acme and Acme job. I quickly moved up because I was very good at my job. At every position I have had, I took a slightly lower salary. At every position you'll see I came out on top. And you shut up. Okay? And you shut up because that's what happened. All right? So financially, I'm set, even if you're having trouble paying the rent. Okay? At every session, at every job, I did take a lower salary. At every session, I came up on top because they moved me up very quickly because I'm an expert at what we do. I'm an expert at what I do. Okay? I want to work and contribute. Money is secondary. Give real reasons. This is the reality of the marketplace since the recession. This is the reality. And I'm facing it. Okay? Another reason, there are less hours here, or there are more hours here, whichever that you like. I have always wanted to work for Acme and Acme because. Okay, I have always wanted to work for this firm because. I've always wanted to work for blank blank because I heard that. I've always wanted to work for Acme and Acme because of the technology here. The technology is superb. I would love to be a part of this program. Okay, that's the reason why I would take less money. I've always wanted to work for Acme and Acme. Okay? I've always wanted to do this. Here's the opportunity for me. Finally, I get this opportunity. I've always wanted to do this. There's more involvement here, more direct client contact. There's less travel. There's more travel. There's access to the latest technology. There's a reason why I want to work here. There's a reason why I would take less money. Okay? So there's an answer to that question. So what you're doing is your strategy is combating bias. It's a bias with good answers, strong answers. There's a reason why I want to work here. There's a reason why I would take less money. Okay? So don't just sit there and say, yeah, well, I really don't want to take less money. Or there's no reason to give me less money. Or I would like to make a lateral move. If you find yourself in a situation where you cannot negotiate for any more money. Okay? So whether you're seeking a new job or seeking to move up in a law firm, age discrimination can rear its ugly head. Okay, that's when we become nervous. That's when we become overzealous in our pitch. All right? Rethink that presentation. Now, here's the flip side of the age discrimination challenge. If you know what business pain you can solve, you can talk to the hiring manager or the partners about that pain. They can't afford to care how old you are. What you've done is you've walked in to fix their pain. Let's say, for example, that they have a huge case, 3 billion emails. I don't know, I'm just making something up. And you've worked on a case with 3 billion emails before. And They can't seem to find somebody who's worked on 3 billion emails before, but you can fix their pain because you've done that before. And that's what you've got to say. I can fix your pain because I've done this before. And here is how I've done it. Now, don't go on and on and on and on. Older folks tend to go on and on and on and on, and it's like the opera where they're going to describe 20 minutes as to how they reach the door. Okay? What I want you to do is to keep the answer between 2 and 3 minutes. 2 and 3 minutes, that's what I want you to do. Don't go on and on and on and on. It becomes boring. People tend to glaze over. Okay? But when you stop talking about your skills and abilities, don't whine. All right? I don't give the please like me attributes that no manager can possibly evaluate. All right? Because then you become like every other banana in the bunch. All right? Talk about something far more important. What you might try, not what you need to do, what you might try is blank, 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 and blank. We tried this on 2 other cases. It worked beautifully. You might try it here. It might not work because blank, 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 but it might work because blank, blank, and blank. You might give that a try. And show your expertise. Show your expertise. Show where you have the expertise and fix their pain. That's why they have you there. That's why they have you there. It doesn't matter how old you are. So what you're going to do is now your strategy is you're positioning yourself as the thought leader, not just any person that comes in the room. You are a thought leader, and that's what they're hiring. And that's why they don't care if you're older. You are the thought leader, and that's what they want. Okay? It doesn't matter how old you are. All right. Just like a salesperson, and that's what you're doing. You're selling yourself. A lot of people say, oh, you know, I'm in the legal field. I don't want to market myself. I don't want to sell myself. You are selling yourself, okay? If you answer questions in a sheep-like fashion, trying hard to please, you're going to fail. You're going to fail. You've got to come on like the expert. And that's where the question comes in. The first question that they're going to ask you in some form or another, which is the hardest question that anybody answers, and I still, to this day, I don't know why, and that is, tell me about yourself. And it comes out in a whole different way. It is, tell me about yourself. And everybody blanks. They blank. I don't care how many times that they answer that question, they blank. So what do? They say, well, I got a master's degree in computer science. I grew up in Fresno, California. I have 6 children. And they go all over the place. The answer is, I'm an expert in litigation support, and I'm certified in Recomind. End of story. Tell me about yourself. I'm here to fix your pain. Okay? Tell me about yourself. That's who you are. I'm an expert. Okay? Not what they want to know is how you're going to fit in with their firm and their job. That's what they want to know. And you're going to tell them, age or not, how you're going to fit in with their firm and how you're going to fix their pain. Okay? It's about what needs you can feel missing within the firm. That's what this is all about, and that's your strategy. You're going to put your experience and your recent continuing legal education to work for you. And don't forget to list those webinars, and don't forget to list that CLE. Okay? It's so important that you answer these questions, and it's so important that you use these strategies and get past these biases, because the bias is the hardest to get past, not the discrimination. You can get past the discrimination. I'll tell you something. Talk about discrimination. Since I was 12 years old, I've been overweight. I just lost 124 pounds. I never thought in my whole life that it made a difference. I didn't think it applied to me. But a few months ago, I was on an airplane and I had to get the middle seat. And everybody hates the middle seat. But for the first time in my whole life, nobody looked at me and looked away. I don't want to sit there. Okay? People didn't mind sitting next to me. It was a huge, huge emotional experience for me. Okay, I lost 124 pounds. Nobody minded sitting next to me. Okay, so people look at you differently when you approach them differently. They look at you differently. Okay, so all of a sudden what you've done is you've turned yourself into a trusted advisor, and it's a consultant digging. Okay, you're digging to learn more about what's not working. All right, ask questions about the processes, the obstacles in a manager's way, and the thorny problems they've seen before in similar situations. You've seen these situations, and this is going to vault you to a higher level of conversation. And they're going to remember you. Remember, particularly HR managers or managing partners or attorneys or paralegals or anybody in the system, a lot of them have not interviewed a lot before. So what happens is all of the candidates run together in their mind. And what they end up doing is instead of comparing the candidate to the job, they compare the candidate to the candidate. That's not what you want. You want to compare the candidate to the job. And that's where they make their mistake. So what you're trying to do is make age discrimination a non-factor. That's a strategy. Okay? Strategy. Make it a non-factor. It's not a factor. Now, a lot of people brag. They brag, and it makes my hair turn gray. My hair is not gray. Okay, not yet, thank you, God. Okay, you're overqualified. They take that and they brag about it. Oh, they said I was overqualified, and they're happy about that. That's a code, and the code is you're too old. Okay, you're overqualified. The code is you're too old. All right, 90% of the time. 90% of the time. How do you answer that question? Okay? Most of the time, people say, I don't know what to say to that. Most of the time, they don't know what to say. You're overqualified. Oh, okay, it never occurred. Okay? How do you answer this most important, not question, answer? Yes, I do have experience. That's great for you because I understand what it takes to be successful. If you'll take a look at my resume, you will see that I have taken a job where I have been slightly overqualified in every position that I have taken, and I have succeeded beyond the firm's dreams. So what you have gotten is somebody who really knows how to do the job, and I have gotten to do a job that I have always wanted to do. We both win. We both come out winners. So it's a win-win for both of us. So don't deny. What people tend to do is they deny that their experience exceeds the level of sophistication of the job. What they do is they say, oh no, I'm not overqualified. I can do this job. I'm right in there. Okay? Instead, agree. Get them to acknowledge the benefit of your experience and your training. Yes, I am overqualified, and that's why we both win. I get to do the job I've always dreamt of doing, and you get a winner. Make sense? Makes a lot of sense, and it's a winning answer. Okay? Now, on your resume, only go back 10 to 15 years maximum. I have seen people put down the date they graduate college, the date they got their first job, 1983. That's 32 years ago, folks. We don't need to go back 32 years. You only need to go back 10 or 15 years. okay? Don't take the dates off the jobs. What people think is if I take the dates off the jobs, then nobody knows when I was there or how long I was there or whatever. Don't put the dates of the graduation, okay? They will find out when they ask you on the application. Believe me, they will find out. Your certificate programs, your admission to the bar. Edit your accomplishments. You don't have to put down every single solitary job that you did, like I answered the phones during lunch while the receptionist was gone. Okay, you don't have to do that. You don't have to put down everything in your entire career that ever happened. All right, make it easy to read. Don't crowd it with too many paragraphs. Bullet point. Nobody reads these days. Nobody reads. And never, never more than 2 pages. Never. I don't care what coach tells you what. Never more than 2 pages. They won't read it. Okay? Prove your skills are up to date. What recent training have you had? Make sure the training is on there. Do not ignore LinkedIn. I guarantee you that if they're going to look at your resume, they're going to look at LinkedIn. And many recruiters nowadays are looking at LinkedIn first before they look at your resume. Okay. Always, always, always quantify your resume with numbers, dollars, and percentages. And that's very easy to do in the legal field. Week. I manage teams for document productions on complex cases, maintain databases and weekly reports. This is what I see on 99% of the resumes that I get in. Strong. Leader of 5 paralegal teams for a $100 million case involving over 3 million emails. Designed and maintained e-discovery databases with 100% accuracy. Probably not 100%, it's probably more like 90. For 10 complex IP cases. Which candidate would you take? I sure wouldn't take the first one, and it's the same person. It's the same person. Okay? And it's rewritten. It's repackaged. Numbers, dollars, percentages. This is what I did. Always quantify what you did. Always. Okay? Which candidate would you take? I would take the second one. Same person. Never, never, never downplay your education. Show your skills are current through legal education, and I can't emphasize this enough. Weak. I got a paralegal certificate from UCLA. I got a BA in journalism. I took an e-discovery seminar from the Paralegal Knowledge Institute. Strong. I have a certificate in e-discovery project management 2014 from the Paralegal Knowledge Institute. What is the Paralegal Knowledge Institute? It's a 5-month comprehensive program designed by top subject matter experts covering all aspects of e-discovery project management. Which candidate would you take? Which one would you take? Okay, same thing with litigation support management. Which one would you take? I would take the one that now I understood what that certificate was all about. Okay? Exclusive for attendees of this particular webinar. I will personally review your resume or your LinkedIn profile, plus I will give you a free 15-minute teleconference, only for attendees of this particular webinar. So please send in. I will give you my. What am I trying to say, Mr. Brennan? My email. I'm off on a different topic. I've written 10 books. This is one of them. You can get it on paralegalknowledge.com. Okay. The best place for older workers to find employment or move up the ladder is smaller or mid-sized firms. Okay, they're more flexible, they hire quicker, there are fewer people who apply. It's just a better place to find a position. It's just easier to get in. Okay, go directly to the hiring manager. Try and bypass HR as much as possible. Okay, first of all, they generally don't know your job. They generally do not. They haven't had the experience. Okay. Talk about what we would be doing, not what I would be doing, okay? So you can search LinkedIn, and this is strategy to get past the gatekeeper. On another webinar, I will explain to you the 30, 60, 90-day plan, and this is a brand new secret on the second interview to get the new job or more responsibility within the firm. And it's a plan that every time we use it, I see a candidate get a job. And it's a plan that you write after understanding the job from the first interview. You write out the plan, you sit down with the hiring manager, and you go through the plan, and it shows that you understand and that you can build that job, okay? You can do it, it shows capability, and no one else is going to come up with this idea, okay? And so we'll go through that. And the idea of this whole plan is that they can visualize you doing the job. It's not going to matter how old you are. It's just like a salesperson, a car salesperson. They don't have you go take a test drive because the car doesn't work. Of course the car works. What they're trying to do is put you behind the wheel so that you can get an idea as to what it feels like to drive that car, to step on the brake, to step on the gas pedal, to feel the steering wheel, to feel yourself behind the car and how good you feel. That's what you want to do when you're getting the job. You want the hiring manager to see you and visualize you doing the job, okay? So we're using the 30-day plan. You can use it on all kinds of things. You can get certified in e-discovery. The OLP, the Organization for Legal Professionals, OLP offers a fantastic e-discovery certification exam that's put together by 27 top subject matter experts in the field, and it's top, 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 top. So invest in yourself, show you have the right background, leverage new skills to get ahead now, and really, really, folks, don't wait until you really are too old and you can't handle a job. So age discrimination is never a good thing. Fight back, and here's to outrageous success. I wish you well. We have a question. I'll be happy to take questions. Don't forget that send me your resume in whatever form it is. I will evaluate it for you. Send it to sherry.estrin@legalcareersrx.com. I will evaluate it for you, and just make an appointment with me. I'll get to you as quickly as I can. That means within the next 24 hours. And we'll make an appointment, and we'll do a 15-minute free evaluation of what's going on with you and what's happening, and the stumbling blocks that you may have. And if your resume isn't working, why isn't it working? And if it's working, why aren't we getting some offers in just a few weeks? Just a few weeks. I took a candidate who'd been on the job market for a year. She had a JD and a paralegal, fantastic paralegal background. She'd been on the market a year. We redid her cover letter. We redid her resume. We coached her on the answers. Oh my God, the answers she was giving on the interview. She had a job with a Fortune 1000 corporation in 6 weeks, and I have a 95% batting rate, and I can prove it. 95% batting rate. So come join me. Come work with me for 4 or 5 weeks, and you'll see the difference. I promise you. I promise you. Okay, so Mr. Brody, do we have any questions? Yes.
Okay, some questions, some comments.
Okay.
The first one is, there is also a startling number of generous organizations that will offer pro bono CLE. Just ask. There's nothing to lose.
Yes.
Okay.
Right, that's right.
Next.
A lot of vendors, lots of vendors.
And if these biases could be true, can't the firms push these people some?
Oh, you wish you could. But some of these people, I had a managing partner, honest to God, say to my best friend. I sent my best friend on an interview, and he said to her, "How do you feel about the fact that everybody here is younger than you?" So I wish we could. I wish we could give them training, but it's almost impossible. I wish we could train everybody, but it's impossible. I wish I could answer the other way.
Okay, the next one was just a comment. Don't discuss ailments or children or grandchildren. She's agreeing with you.
Okay, you're right. You're right. You want to discuss them very definitely. You want to brag, 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 brag. I want to brag about my little 3-year-old grandson once I get on the job, but not during the interview.
Next one is, how can I handle preconceived prejudice about my age before anyone has ever met me? When they see my level of experience on paper, they have a preconceived idea about me.
Yeah, take off as many dates as is possible. Don't go past the 10 to 15 years. When you walk in the door, they're going to know anyway. When they see your picture on LinkedIn, they're going to know anyway. Just dress as best as you can and walk in and give them hell. Just give them hell. I guarantee it. Well, I hate to guarantee anything because I never know. I can't control what goes on in the interview. But give them hell. I'm telling you, give them hell. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
People who really say things like these out loud. This was had to do with some of the comments that people made about people's age.
Huh?
Well, this is just a comment that people really say things like these out loud. Yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. And I am astounded. I am just astounded. And it's sort of like, don't they realize? And aren't they? I'm teaching human resources for anyone with newly assigned HR responsibilities September 23rd. And I have to teach what not to say when you're firing somebody. I can't believe some of the things that I'm going to have to teach. But I have to teach it. Yeah, people say things that you wouldn't believe. I'm just astounded. You'd think would be common sense. I feel like I have to apologize for the whole legal field.
Okay, I think that event that you're talking about may be on the 17th, though. So
no, it's on the 23rd. The 17th is actually the 17th is a very interesting webinar that we're giving on marijuana and litigation in business.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
Yeah,
well,
that was my mistake.
Well, they'll be getting it in their emails.
Yeah.
Okay. Another comment: LinkedIn has a perfect place to show your ongoing educational efforts.
Yes. Show it. By all means, show your CLE. By all means, show it. Show as much as you possibly can show.
Okay. Next question. What is the best resume format, chronological versus functional, for a paralegal who has not had much in the way of managing substantial cases to qualify in numbers, dollars, or percentages?
Do not use a functional resume in the legal field. They don't like it. The reason why they don't like it is they want to see a progression of duties from each job to each job. So they do not favor the functional. Now, for those of you who don't know what the functional resume is, that's where you show all of your duties all in one paragraph, and then you list where you've been. They don't like that. They just don't like it. 9 out of 10 people don't like it, so don't use that one. They want to see you started out as maybe a file clerk, then you moved up to a paralegal, then you moved up to a litigation support, then you moved up. They want to see that type of progression. So don't use the functional one. It won't get you anywhere. You can test market it. You can always test market everything, you know, and if you end up getting more responses, then yay for you. But my advice is don't use it.
Okay, next question. What is the most effective way to identify the hiring manager of a law firm or corporate legal department?
Call and ask. Okay, they're gonna, if you can get past the receptionist. I lie. I don't tell anybody, but because I'm editor-in-chief of No Magazine, I say, I'd like to get a quote from the hiring manager. Could you give me her name or his name? I use anything, but I'd like to send a resume. Okay. I guess everybody and their mother who's going to listen to this is now going to know that that Sherry Esther is going to call and get a quote. But I do the article, and I do use my blog that's been around since 2005. But I do anything but say, where do I send my resume? Because they'll say, send it to, blah, blah.
Next question, how do you get past the online application process screening?
I call and send it directly to the hiring manager, or I send it to, I also tried the Old Boys Network, which shouldn't be called the Old Boys Network, but if somebody went to the same school I did, that's a great way of sending a resume. You send it to, and would you mind passing this on to blank blank, because chances are they will. Here's an alumni, somebody I went to school with, would you mind seeing that this gets passed along? That's a great trick to use, so you might try that. And also look it up on LinkedIn, who's the hiring manager.
Okay.
LinkedIn is the most fabulous tool they ever came up with, in my opinion.
Next, if I've been on my current job for the past 20 years, do I need to include any prior firms I've worked for, or can I just list the one employer?
List the one employer. Yeah, list the one employer. List the one employer, because anything past 20 years, it's not going to do you any good. It really isn't going to do you any good. You can test, again, you can test market these things, if you feel real insecure, I think Sherry might be wrong on this, test market a few, send out 10, 20 with something past 20 years. If you don't get any response, it's not going to work. You can always test market something. I'm not in favor of it, but because it shows 20 years in one employer, it shows dedication, it shows loyalty, it shows a lot of good things. A lot of good things.
Okay, many positions have different buzzwords. Are you suggesting that we rewrite the resume for each position to include that job posting's buzzwords?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Rewrite every resume. Every resume, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for somebody that says, hey, wait a minute, this person fits right in here. They can blah, blah, and they can blah, blah, and they can blah, blah. That's just like what we're looking for. So tweak every single solitary resume.
Here's an unusual question. I am 29 years old and about to get married in October. I am a successful paralegal and I plan to move forward to the next stage of my career very soon. I have been told by other paralegals not to wear my wedding ring during job interviews for fear of age discrimination, that the potential employer may soon think I will be in childbearing stage. Do you find this to be true, and if so, how should women in their 30s deal with such a situation?
I wouldn't want to work for a place like that. I just wouldn't want to work for a place like that. I wouldn't. You have a choice of a place where you want to work. You're not a victim. I wouldn't want to work for a place like that. I would wear my wedding ring proudly. In fact, I do. No to that. That's my personal opinion. No, absolutely not.
3 questions left. My resume seems to be working because I get interviews. My problem is that as I am disabled, and when I come to the interview using a cane, I know I'm fighting prejudice. Any suggestions?
Yeah, let me tell you something. I have to have knee replacement surgery, and for, sometime in the next 3 months, and I happen to be using a cane right now, and it took me 6 months to use that cane, and right now, nobody seems to be paying any attention to it. It was more me. I found out it was more me and how I was using it. I stumbled every time I used it. So this therapist made me practice up and down and up and down and up and down, and pretty soon nobody noticed it. And it became a part of like carrying my purse. And so I can totally relate to you. And also, if you make it one of those, not funky, but fun ones, they think it's fun too. So don't be ashamed of who you are. I'm going through the same thing. It's not an easy thing, and a lot of it has to do with self-pride. Just be who you are.
Okay, transferable skills when looking for jobs outside of traditional law firms.
I'm sorry.
Transferable skills when looking for jobs outside traditional law firms.
Oh, that's a totally different resume, and take a look at a corporate resume and transfer those skills. So you have to use things like detail-oriented, organized, prepared important documents, communicated with executives, managers. There's a whole set of different types of language that you have to use, using things like drafted motions, second at trial. Legal language doesn't always work if you're transferring into the corporate world. I would be happy to work with you to show you how that's done. It's different. It's different than the legal world. They don't understand. They don't get it. You have to write it differently if you're transferring out. And it's hard. It's hard. I'll tell you that much. It's hard to transfer out of the legal field. They want to keep you in it. But it's a different resume.
One last question. For the last 5 years, I have been doing contract paralegal work. How do I overcome the perception hiring managers and interviewers have regarding contract paralegals?
You're going to have to put what you did differently on the contract. Has to go first, and the contract portion has to go second. So whatever types of assignments that you had that did not apply to contracts, which I don't off the top of my head know what they would have to go first. That would have to be emphasized, and then the contract portion of it. I would have to take a good look at your resume to see what that is. But you have to de-emphasize the contract portion of it and emphasize the other things that you are doing. And then in the objective, you're going to have an objective, which not everybody has anymore. You're going to have to put something to the effect that you are seeking to transfer your skills. It's a very tricky thing to do because in the legal field, once you're in a specialty, they want to keep you there. Particularly contracts. It's very, very hard to find a contracts paralegal, a good one. So it may take you longer than you want. That's the only drawback. But you can do it. You can do it. I've seen it done.
Okay, the rest of what I got are comments, not questions, and I'll share them with you afterwards. So,
are they good comments?
Yes, but I'll share them with you.
Okay.
We're over time now, so
okay.
Let's bring it to a close.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Please be sure, I do want to see your resumes. I do want to see what's going on out there. Please take advantage of the free resume evaluation. Take advantage of the 15-minute free teleconference I often go over because we get involved in what's going on with you. So please give me a ring, book a conference with me. Let me help you out. Let me help you out. It's a whole new world out there. It's not going to cost you very much. To invest in a career. The reason why we coach you, we don't do it for yourself, is because these are skills that you're going to use for the whole rest of your life. A job is not a marriage. You're not married to that job for the rest of your life. So learn these skills. You'll use them for the rest of your life, and you'll get the job that you've always wanted. And again, yes, there is job discrimination out there. It's not a good thing. Fight back. You can get the job that you want. I guarantee it. Thank you very much. You've been a great audience, and here's to outrageous success. Take care. See you next time.
Thank you.